Hi, my name is Sue Levy, and I'm the founder of Savory Living, and I'm really excited to give you some easy and fast tips to stay safe and sane and feel so much better. Because you know what? The world is upside down right now, but your eating doesn't have to be. So this is me and my family. We're all smiling now, although that picture was taken before we were kind of staying at home together so much, so we're far less smiling now. I'm a behavior change expert. And I've spent 20 years creating programs to help people improve their health. And my mission is to make a million lives better with the power of food as medicine. I know firsthand what's possible when you can eat to reduce inflammation and get your eating working better for you. So I'm 49 years old, and when I was in my mid 30s, my health started to change. I had headaches, digestive issues, so IBS, acid reflux, delayed gastric emptying. My cholesterol and triglycerides were rising, and I was diagnosed with an ultra rare and progressive lung disease. And at the time of my diagnosis, they said, it's not good. You're most likely going to need a lung transplant in 10 years' time. And only half of the women are still alive 10 years after a transplant. So you can imagine, to hear that I might only have until I was 54 years old to live was pretty show-stopping. But I'm an optimist, and they said that lifestyle intervention could help. So I went back to school to study nutrition, and I put into place what the experts had to say about eating to support your health and slow down disease. And when done correctly, healthy eating reduces inflammation, which is connected to most of the major diseases and conditions of our time. And when I figured out how to activate it in my life, that's when the real transformation happened. I took off the extra belly fat, no more headaches, cholesterol, triglycerides was normal. And I'm going to knock on wood here because it's now about 14 years and I'm not on a single medication to manage my digestive issues, and my lungs have been holding firm and strong. And my moods and my energy and my sleep, it all just got so much better. So what I know is that what they tell you is right. How you eat really matters, but changing it can be so hard to do. And one size doesn't fit all. But I'm here to tell you that it's really possible. It just takes knowledge, new food skills, and support to get your eating working better for you. And I created Savory Living to put that power in everybody's hands and to help you figure it out. And I'm really excited to share some of these tips to help you now. So our goal is you in control, right? You eating and feeling awesome. And with the coronavirus here, we also want to keep you safe and strong. And that's about immunity and inflammation, which I'm going to talk to you about. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what inflammation is and why you should care about it and how to recognize it. I'm going to show you how healthy eating works, because at its core, it's reducing inflammation and boosting your immunity. And I'm going to give you some easy tips to make it happen and survive this staycation that you have with your family and your extended kind of self, and make it easy. So when we think about your health and taking action, there are three things, and you probably know them, right? That you said, if I could just do them, I know I would feel better. I know it would help with my immunity. I know it's what I need to do. And these are the big three, right? I got to move, I got to eat better, and I got to get more sleep and more stress. And these three are reducing inflammation. That's why they work so well. The one I'm going to focus on in this talk, and that I focus on for kind of from a passion standpoint, is the eating, because you cannot outmaneuver a bad diet. So the opportunity really is to use food as medicine. This is from the Harvard Medical School, and I love this quote because they say, forget what you thought you knew about healthy eating. Research since the 90s shows beyond all doubt that you can lower your risk for the most serious diseases of our time just by following a healthy diet. And when you look at what a healthy diet is, there's general consensus. So the Heart Association, the Diabetes Association, the Cancer Society, you look at the diets that perform the best from a health outcome standpoint, like the Mediterranean diet, the DASH diet, and people enjoy living on these, there's clear direction. And what healthy eating is doing is basically reducing inflammation. I'm going to talk to you more about inflammation, but really think of it like this smoldering fire. And it's dangerous because it's destroying healthy blood vessels, tissues, and cells. And so the next few things I'm going to take you through are signs that you have inflammation, and you want to pay attention, and you can get tremendous relief just by making some small changes to how you eat. So if you're carrying that extra belly fat, it's a sign. Heart disease and stroke, so things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. Immune and autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, chronic fatigue, MS, thyroid conditions, or allergies like asthma, eczema. Anything with an itis on the end of it is a sign of inflammation. Then there's pain like headaches and migraines, joint pain, arthritis, fibromyalgia, digestive issues like IBS, Crohn's, colitis, ulcers, gas, bloating, heartburn, constipation, diarrhea, type 2 diabetes, so metabolic syndrome, high blood sugar, and then brain conditions like Alzheimer's and dementia, depression, ADD, Parkinson's, seizures. All of these things are connected to inflammation, and you can get relief. And then there's cancers. And COVID-19 is connected to inflammation. And this is from the New York Times recently. And the quote says, doctors have found that some of the serious damage infected adults have endured has been caused not just by the virus itself, but by an aggressive immune response that creates destructive inflammation in the body's organs. So eat better, right? Make it happen. But the challenge for most of us is that it feels out of reach. In fact, half of us say it's easier to do our taxes than it is to figure out how to eat healthy. And that's translating into not enough of us using our fork and a knife to just experience how we could feel and live better lives. And I believe the reason why is the existing solutions out there are falling short, right? You've probably tried a weight loss program, diets, meal plans, articles, recipes, supplements, shakes, food discounts. It makes your head spin, but they're not really getting you to lasting change. And I think what's missing are 4 key ingredients. No one's taught us how to eat, right? And they haven't connected the dots so that we're solving more than weight. If you still have your headaches, your migraines, your joint pain, your eczema flare-ups, then it isn't really solved for you, and it needs to be. And you got to learn some new food skills. What do you eat instead? How do you make it fast? How do you make it taste great? And how do you get to change in a way that doesn't become like a third job or feel like you're drinking from a fire hose? Turns out half of us are living with signs of inflammation, so you're not alone. And these things are improvable with diet. So I urge you to look at this list on the right. If you have anxiety and depression, fatigue, belly fat, joint pain, digestive issues, headaches or migraines, skin conditions, food sensitivities, or diseases and conditions, change how you're eating. So let's talk about inflammation, right? It turns out inflammation is a key immune system response. So it protects us from infections. It coordinates an attack when a foreign threat enters your body. And it also helps your body heal. So you ever go for that run, you twist your ankle, it swells up. That's your body's response to the trauma, and it will stop and help you heal. And this kind of inflammation is cool. It's temporary in duration, and it stops when the healing starts. But the issue is when inflammation doesn't stop. That's when your immune system gets activated and it doesn't shut down as a result of that infection or that virus or something that's caused it. And it's dangerous because they believe it's setting the stage for most of the major diseases and conditions and is attacking our healthy blood vessels, tissues, and cells and our organs. And that's the real harm and danger. And when they think about the coronavirus, they think it's hijacking your immune system that's getting overactivated and that's creating more inflammation in your system. So what causes inflammation? That's really caused by your immune system getting activated. So it can be an infection or a virus, chronic disease, or if you're living with an autoimmune condition, you pretty much have your immune system activated. And then if you're eating foods you're not digesting well, those undigested food particles are creating inflammation in your system. And then there's lifestyle causes. So how we eat. If you're not pulling in enough vegetables, I'm going to talk to you about that. If you're taking in too much sugar, I'll also talk to you about that. If you're not getting good quality sleep, if you're under stress for long periods of time, sound like our lives? Yeah. And then if you're taking drugs like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, things like ibuprofen, naproxen sodium, and aspirin, that's creating inflammation. And then I'm sad to say, just as a result of getting older, your immune system becomes less well regulated and it secretes cytokines that are inducing inflammation. If you've got that extra belly fat, so you don't want to look at your BMI, you want to look at your belly fat and that waist circumference. If you're men 40 inches or higher, women 35 inches or higher, it's a sign you have inflammation and you need to do something about it. So people always ask, okay, great. I'm just going to give me the list of stuff that, foods I need to eat that'll reduce it, and give me the ones I should avoid that cause it, right? And I'll give you that food list here, but in my experience, that's not going to crack it. And you need a more kind of holistic approach to how you think about eating. But here's the list of the foods that reduce inflammation: tomatoes, olive oil, green leafy vegetables like your kale, collard, spinach, nuts like almonds and walnuts, fatty fish, fruits like strawberries, blueberries, cherries, oranges, and coffee. Here's the list of the foods that cause it: fried foods, sodas, refined carbs. So that means anything with a white flour in it, lard, and processed meats. But what I have found in the program that I run is that if you really want to help people reduce inflammation, you got to look holistically at how you're eating. And so you really want to think of it as, even in the world of healthy foods, it's not all the same. You want to move yourself to a place of imbalance where you're eating more of some and containing and eating less of others. And so the two actions that we work hard with people on to really help is focus on what you're going to eat more of and some of the foods that you got to eat less of. And then you really do need to identify what you're not digesting well, because those undigested food particles leave your gut. They make their way into your bloodstream. Your immune system gets activated to clean it up. It's like, clean up in aisle 7. And then that's when it all starts to go south. So here are some tips to help you do it. Crowd in the good stuff. You want to make vegetables and fruits half of what you're eating a day, half of it, and make some of it raw, some of it cooked. Eat the rainbow, and I don't mean Skittles, and dark leafy greens, and greens are awesome to crowd in. You want to include healthy proteins when you're eating. So the plant-based ones like the beans, the lentils, the nuts and seeds, just go for unsalted. The lean animal proteins like the chicken, the fish, and you can have meat, but they believe you should probably have it just maybe once a week. Healthy fats are really good for you, so you want to include those nuts and seeds, the extra virgin or the regular olive oils, the avocado oils, the olives, the avocados. Get those healthy fats into your day. Okay, so these are some of the eat less foods. You can enjoy them, but have them in moderation, because you know and you saw they were on that list. So that's things like fried foods, potato chips, fried chicken, and then packaged processed meats. These are creating inflammation. So even if you're buying the uncured, organic, whichever versions of these things, they're still creating that inflammation in your system. Tip 3 is really think about sugar. So here's the deal, right? Sugar really is sugar is sugar. So don't fall into that trap of thinking agave or, date syrup and maple syrup and honey made from the bees that is not gonna materially change things. Okay, so sugar is sugar is sugar. The problem isn't really that we're having sugar, because you can have it. The problem is that most of us are taking in 3 times the amount that our bodies were designed to handle. And that's creating the inflammation in our system. And I'm going to show you some tips to reduce it. Another tip is identify the foods you're not digesting well. So as I said, those undigested food particles, because of leaky gut, are entering into your bloodstream. Your immune system gets activated to clean it up. And so that's creating inflammation. What I like to tell people is knowledge is power. So figure out which ones are your Achilles heel, and then you can eat less of them and understand it. And I know for me personally, I got healthy eating to work, but it wasn't until I identified that I have trouble with gluten, dairy, corn, and soy that I really started to structure how I ate in such a way that I reduced those, got relief, and reduced the inflammation in my system. And when you're in a state of inflammation, it's really hard to tell. I have so many people in my program that'll be like, I know milk's not a problem. And then later on we do this food trial and they're like, wow, I couldn't have it was a problem. I just didn't know. And so it really does require a systematic way to figure out. So, if you're someone that's like, I tried gluten-free, didn't work. Here's the deal though. A lot of gluten-free products have corn, they have soy, they have other things that are hard to digest. So you can be substituting one for another that doesn't work for you. So you really need a way to kind of think through this stuff. So here are some signs that you might have a food sensitivity at play. So anything digestively, so acid reflux, GERD, right? Irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, colitis, heartburn, bloating, gas, cramping, constipation, diarrhea. And then on the other side, if you're living with any of these things like headaches, fatigue, depression, anxiety, joint pain, eczema, ADHD, iron deficiency anemia, fibromyalgia, RA, other autoimmune conditions like Hashimoto's disease and thyroid things, cancers. You owe it to yourself to just look into this to see if you can figure it out and get the inflammation down. So you got this. Let me give you some easy ways to make this happen, right? You just pick a few actions you're going to take. Don't go crazy, right? And what I like to tell people is choose better packaged foods. I'm going to show you how to do that now. Crowd veggies into some of your meals and snacks, and then figure out a way to make it easy with some of these assembling tips that I'm going to show you. So when I say choose better packaged foods, what do I mean, right? We all need packaged foods, so I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but a lot of them out there are really just empty calories. They have not a lot of nutritional value, so there's a high opportunity cost when you eat them. You're not pulling in good stuff, but they're also high in sugar, fats, and salt. So turn them over, look at that ingredient panel. The fewer the number of ingredients in it, the better, and make sure it's real food that you can recognize. But let's talk about how you can evaluate your packaged foods and get your sugar down. So it turns out in packaged foods, that's what these numbers are, you've got a daily limit. So for women, it's 24 grams, men 36, those teenagers 20 to 32, the younger kids up to about age 10, 18, and then the younger preschoolers are at about 16 grams. Read a label. Add up the grams and sugar for your day and kind of stick to where you want to be. So when I look at this product, it happens to be kind of a grain bar, right? A power type bar. Look at the serving size and then scroll down with your eyes to sugar. And you can see just one of these blows up my whole day. So before you get scared and say, great, what am I going to do about this? All right, knowledge is power. Use it for change, right? Choose versions with less sugar. So instead of that Larabar at 24, choose a Kind bar. That's 5 grams of sugar. Instead of those raisin brands that are sugar-coated raisins that are getting you to about 17 grams of sugar, buy the whole grain version and throw your own raisins on. That's 5 grams. Don't get me started on some smoothies out there because a lot of them are just these boluses of sugar. Look at the Stonyfield Farm. It's organic. It's 38 grams of sugar. You're better off going for plain versions of things. And when you're eating yogurt, look at that Greek yogurt at 6. Add your own honey, your own agave, your own fruit, your own vanilla, and you are way better off. Develop a taste for water. So 20 ounces of soda is 65 grams, of sports drink 34. Kids' juices can be anywhere from 16 to 54. Those vitamin waters, 32. Iced teas, 24. Energy drinks, 23 grams of sugar. I used to drink tons of lemonade before I kind of knew all this stuff. Each cup is 27 grams of sugar. So make it into a spritzer, water the darn thing down. And then with orange juice, 22 grams of sugar. Go for regular coffee. So no matter what, when you go for those blended coffee drinks, you are taking in a lot of sugar. A small can be anywhere from 45 to 65, and a large can be anywhere from 85 to 140. All right. Here's another tip for you. Crowd in and get your breakfast working harder for you. I love to do a smoothie. And if you go to savoryliving.com on my blog, you'll see a video and a recipe for it. Be careful because not all smoothies are the same. You got to get the protein in, and they're a way to get the greens into your morning in a way that tastes great. I do green eggs with my kids. I throw the spinach into the blender and make them green. I toss and get frozen vegetables into my omelets. Get veggies into breakfast. Get it into your other meals too. So what do you and your family like to eat? Cram the stuff into there. So for example, I'm making a soup. I throw in the greens and stir it up near the end, and nobody even knows they're in there. It's taco night. All right, I get some beans into that taco meat, and I get some veggies into that mix up as well. Look for recipes that maybe start with the vegetable, and look for new things like bean salads and all sorts of different ways to roast and prepare and get those veggies into what you like to eat. And then I like to tell people, order double veggies. Just say when you're at that restaurant or getting the takeout now, like, you got to give me double vegetables. I'm trying to make half of my plate vegetable. And then when you're assembling lunches and things, get containers that allow you to just put good stuff in so you're not chained to a sandwich. And the key to unlocking the picky eater, because I get a lot of people that join my program and say, I don't like vegetables, my kids don't like vegetables. People eat flavor profiles. So you have to learn how to cook and flavor some of this stuff to make it taste great. And we teach people flavor balancing so they know and understand the different notes like sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. So you don't just keep dumping salt in things. And once you understand how to add different things to bring up the flavors, you can then take it to different global cuisines. So does your family like Italian? Or do they like Mexican? What types of foods do they like? And then you surround what you want everybody eating more of with those flavors. I'm a big fan of stock up, especially now. Get your freezer full of these frozen vegetables. And there are amazing ones out there now. It is not your grandmother's frozen vegetables. They have stir fry combinations. They've got roasted things, grilled things that are frozen and ready to go for you. And the key with frozen vegetables is they're already cooked, so don't overcook them. You thaw them in a bowl with some cold water for a couple minutes, strain them, and then you can toss them into your favorite dishes. And then what I did on the right here is I got grilled vegetables that were frozen, and I just put them into a pan frozen with some garlic and some olive oil, and man, they were delicious. You got to hit them with a splash of lemon. That's the sour note. Get your snacks to work harder for you. So this is, I love these containers by Systema, and I basically say the first snack of my day is going to be vegetable and protein. So it's maybe red pepper with hummus, and there's tons of already made hummuses you can order out there, and bean dips. Or is it cucumbers with some cashews? Or is it olives and baby carrots with a hard-boiled egg? My second snack of the day is a fruit plus protein, apples with a beet horseradish hummus. Is it strawberries and grapes with some nuts? Is it clementines with cheese? I like to tell people to set a plan and call it 1, 2, 3, because you need to think in advance about what and how you want to eat. And this is actually what I do with my kids. I basically say, you can have all these things, but you got to eat them in this order. Start with number 1, go to number 2, and then those crunchy chips, awesome, you have those as number 3. And everybody knows that's the system. They've got it. And especially now when I line them up on the counter in the beginning of the day, everybody is home and eating what they need to be eating. Pack up for your day, even when you're at home. The problem a lot of times people feel like is like constantly, I have 3 kids, and so it's somebody's always asking for food and always hungry, especially now that everybody's home. So what you want to do is spend a little time in the morning like you would if they're going off to school, and even for yourself, pack up your snacks and your lunches and have it ready to go, and people can go to their bag, their area, and manage themselves. So I hope those tips help you. And if you really want to kickstart your healthy eating lifestyle, I encourage you to check out my program. I offer a free trial of session 1, and it'll give you some tips and ideas to kickstart an anti-inflammatory diet that works for you. You just got to go to savoryliving.com. And my program is 12 easy online sessions that guide you through change. You're activating a healthy diet to reduce inflammation. It's designed for all eaters and skill levels. It's a proven 12-session nutrition and cooking curriculum. It includes a private coach. It's FSA and HSA eligible. A lot of insurers are reimbursing, and it runs 24/7 on your schedule on any device. So from your pajamas at 2 a.m. in the morning, you can engage. Again, it's a free trial, and just go to savoryliving.com. Take care and live well, eat well, be well.